The good old standby Menchie.
Meat dinner.
Awesome. Hey everybody, and welcome to the 75th episode of From My Mother's Basement, the show that celebrates being a geek. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And as always, I'm Jason, somehow.
And I am Michael.
Michael, how was your the past 3 weeks? That was just a ton of holidays and...
Well, aside for you trying to turn my computer into your bitch and failing,
yes, it is my fault.
That's why we didn't do it last week. No, It wasn't just Jason's fault, but yeah, we made the mistake. Jason, originally last week we were going to do it from here, but there were in making adjustments to so that we can more evenly match when it comes from Jason's house versus my house as far as look and feel. Jason tried to make my computer his bitch, and my computer said no.
Yeah, I kind of made it cry. It wasn't a really pretty picture, so oh well.
Well, you know.
But we are back for this week, so...
I give you the big blue finger.
Yeah, true. A lot of stuff's been going on.
Surprisingly, though it's weird. It's been a slow news week in some areas and not in others.
Well, in the sense that, I mean, a lot of businesses really weren't doing much over the past few weeks because of, you know, being the holidays. But there's still so much other stuff to talk about regardless.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I do have to say a thank you to you and Nikki on the air for the surprise Christmas gift. I was not expecting this in the least. Let me pull this up. So, first off, they got me a t-shirt because we have a... Well, I'll show that last. But first, these guys know I'm a big Deadpool fan. And they happened to meet the...
we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That the author was signing it Hypno, and I went in and picked up a couple copies and got them signed for myself.
But then you turn around and get me these, including the front one that actually has my slogan when I play in WoW with my friends, which is "My Life for Tacos."
As he's attacking a dinosaur.
Awesome.
Yeah, we told the author about that. I told the author that anytime we go gaming, that the whole Deadpool's obsession with chimichangas and tacos, and then that you started doing the My Life. It started as My Life for Allah, but it very rapidly turned into My Life for Tacos, and he thought that was hilarious. And then when I came back in to have him sign your book, he's like, "What was that thing you said you've tried and said again?" And I told him, he's like, and he wrote it down. I'm just like, "Oh, he's just gonna wet his pants over this."
Well, on top of all of this, you also give me a T-shirt, and here's just a picture of it, and I think it's just perfect.
Nothing says Jason more than Deadpool screaming for tacos on the back of the thing.
Yeah. You guys, you know me way too well.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes, so thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. And thank you to Nikki, and I won't let her know when she walks in the door.
Yes. Yeah, it being the 75th, I thought it'd be good to have a drink because we were supposed to do our end of the year special last week.
There was supposed to be alcohol involved, yes.
So I figure I'll have a few sips of this whiskey while we're talking about random stuff this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't pour myself any alcohol. Maybe I'll do it during one of the previews. Are we showing any previews this week?
We are showing a preview, a really cool preview that I don't think you really want to miss out on.
Oh, you butthead.
Well,
this is love.
Yeah. Well, let's just jump into it. Let's talk about... Well, I'll say this right off the bat. The first few articles we're going to talk about are all Disney. So we're kicking the year off right with a huge...
Paying our overlord, Disney.
Yes, exactly. And let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. They finally came out and released the first official photo for the movie, and we get a shot of it right here.
I just wish it was a higher res.
Yeah, a higher res would be nice.
That's Zoe Saldana on the left there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Zoe Saldana as Gamora. Oh, man. Looking forward to that. Look, the raccoon is epic.
Yes. I'm really curious to see where director James Gunn is going to take this film. Because there are so many different storylines that they can go for with this crew. You
know what? Even if this just turns into a, hey, we're going to follow loosely the start storyline since the Marvel reboot, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I actually like that storyline. Although, I swear to God, unless they bring Stark in it. Because Stark's in the first part of the comics, Stark shows up.
Right.
Stark beds Gamora. You want to talk about a girl with daddy issues? Her father is Thanos,
Yeah, that's kind of
the wielder of the Infinity Gauntlet.
which
Oh,
they've
bro.
actually finally came out and stated that yes, that's where they're pushing all the Avengers movies towards. So
Towards the Infinity Wars?
yes, the Infinity Gauntlet. So
Nice.
so
I just really look forward to seeing her as Gamora, because I think she's going to kick ass.
I still laugh at the fact that, I mean,
Although now
Bradley
Bradley
Cooper. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
I was just, she started out blue. She's been herself, her normal African American gorgeous self,
Right.
and now she's been blue because she was Neytiri in Avatar. Now she's green. I just want to see her as yellow, blue, purple. And what other color characters is she going to do now? Is she going to is she going to act the rainbow?
Who knows?
I just had to throw that in there. Sorry.
I mean, I'll go through the lineup real quick. Chris Pratt as Peter Quill. I think he'll be fine. I'm really curious to see how Bradley Cooper handles Rocket Raccoon's voice.
Oh, that's going to be Bradley Cooper?
Yeah.
That's got so much potential.
I mean, Dave Bautista, he's perfect for the role as Drax.
Yeah.
And I laugh at the fact that they hired Vin Diesel as the voice of Groot, because Groot says like all of 3 words.
But the way he says them, and if you think about it, Vin Diesel's voice when he's doing, especially when he's doing Riddick,
Uh-huh.
that low, gravelly, I can kill you any second voice,
Uh-huh.
that fits with Groot.
Okay.
Because it's a low, gravelly. I mean, when I read, I don't read Groot as a high pitched "I am Groot" type character, you know. So I think Diesel. I mean, depending on how, I'm worried that they're going to make Groot say more than "I am Groot." Now you can say "I am Groot" a million different ways, and that's okay because the only person who can really understand him is the damn raccoon.
Right.
But
We'll see what happens.
I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be good.
Okay.
He'll come out of the recording studio and never want to say that phrase or hear that phrase again in his life.
Good point. Very good point. Moving on.
Yes.
Other Disney stuff.
Disney.
There are a number of Marvel franchises that could do so well, have the potential to do so well in the cinematic Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Why they still decided to go forward with Big Hero 6, I have no idea.
It's in Japan.
I mean, when they're looking at this, and some people were saying, oh, this is like a Japanese equivalent of The Incredibles. Just give us The Incredibles 2, and I'll be a much happier person.
Incredibles 2 is already being plotted. I don't know if it's actually being... It hasn't been started yet. They're still working on The Good Dinosaur.
Good point, yeah.
And this is going to be done by yet another... I don't think this is done by the secondary in-house studio, though.
This is... They're saying
so that would mean that Disney...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was stating that it was... They're already stating this is the quote-unquote first collaboration between Marvel and Walt Disney Animation Studios. So
so it is the in-house team.
It is in-house. The same team. I'm probably comprised of some of the same people who did like Tangled and Frozen and a couple
Wreck-It
more.
Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
So it is okay. So then it's got potential because their animation's really good. The original cartoon though, or the original comic rather, was tarded with a capital Tard.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I liked the artwork. I really did. I liked the character design. I liked the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It felt a little, I don't want to say Big O. Oh god, the one kid and his guardian robot dude felt very much like another character I've seen elsewhere, but still kind of lame.
True.
The story sucked, but the artwork was good.
Yeah. Why are we talking about this? Because Disney finally announced who's directing this shindig. They already talked about Don Hall, whose previous credit was something that makes no sense to tie in with this, the Winnie the Pooh movie. Yes. The producer, Ray Conley, actually worked on Tangled, Treasure Planet, Hunchback of Notre Dame, a couple other projects. That's closer fit. But they actually announced a new co-director, his name is Chris Williams. And his tie-in with Disney with all this, he co-directed Bolt for Disney.
I actually kind of liked Bolt. I mean, unfortunately, I kind of liked Bolt, but it wasn't all that fantastic. You know, if you want to save this franchise, drag in Brad Bird.
Yeah, true, very true. We'll see what happens with this. I mean, they're looking at what 2016 for something. No, actually earlier. Whoa. As I read the bottom of the article, Big Hero 6 is set to hit theaters November 7th, 2014. This is coming out.
They're a lot further along.
Yeah, they're a lot further along than they ever made the announcement. So,
because you cannot crank. I mean, a CGI movie, unless you've got the team from hell, and even then, you know, it takes Pixar 4 years to crank out a flick.
Yep, exactly. Same amount of time for Disney's current
In-house.
animations head for Frozen, Tangled, and the like.
Right,
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting what's going to happen with that. The last bit of Disney news we're going to talk about real quick is kind of I understand from a business standpoint, but I still hate the fact they made this decision regardless.
It depends on how they do it, but go ahead.
Disney pulled the comic book license from Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm. Well, specifically for Star Wars.
Yes. So all the Star Wars comics that, you know, Dark Horse has released in the past or in process of, did they ever finish releasing the Star Wars based on George Lucas's first draft of the movies?
Oh, that's been done a long time.
Okay.
The big one that I was really into was Legacy.
Legacy. Okay, yeah. I remember you were a big fan of that last time we went to a comic shop down here. But
this way. Hang on.
So it looks like, while you're looking for that information, looks like what we have here.
That's Legacy right there.
Gotcha. Okay. I still have yet to read that series.
It's really good, actually, and it introduces my favorite Star Wars original character, not in the movies. If I can find her.
So yeah, it looks like Disney is pulling the rights. They're going to Marvel in 2015, so Dark Horse has the rest of 2014 to wrap up both series. They're not going to be continued over when it gets passed over to Marvel.
Which is really sad, because Legacy's really good. Now, I don't know if they may have already wrapped up that story, but it's... Number one, this should not be a surprise to anyone.
No. Disney's bringing everything in-house. Well, kind of bringing
effectively in-house, parentally. But also, Marvel's got the skills if they get the right writers. But Marvel's got some really good talent under their wing.
Right.
You just have to get the stories and the writers. What's really going to piss me off, because everything in the Dark Horse comics currently is canon. If they go back and retcon all that crap,
I really hope they don't do that.
I will be so pissed off, because damn it, Darth Talon's awesome. It's all about Darth Talon for me. Sorry.
So I guess we'll have to find out over the next week if we get any further information, whether or not they're going to try to retcon this stuff, or if these two comic lines have already wrapped up in a sense.
Well, for that storyline anyway. I mean, there's a gajillion side stories you could tell. Mara Jade's. Wait a minute. What? Okay. Isaac in the chat room says that it's already non-canon, as in Mara Jade will cease to exist. There's no way that's going to happen, because they sell Mara Jade toys inside the park. So,
yeah, we'll see what happens. We have a year to find out.
I hope they don't screw that pooch. I'm gonna be so pissed off. Not that me getting pissed off is gonna make a difference, but
because this show has so much pull.
And suddenly there were thousands of fanboys screamed out in silence, and were suddenly silenced, rather.
Okay, so I think that's all of our Disney news for the week.
Yeah.
Now let's get to the news that I've been looking forward to announce for a while.
I am mixed on. It could be really cool. But
so, this movie was announced a while ago.
Yeah, and I completely forgot about it.
And the only reason a lot of people started talking about it again about a few months back was because, unfortunately, the director died in the middle of production. So
people thought that the movie was just going to stop right there.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about a live-action adaptation of the anime classic Kite.
I don't know that I'd call it a classic.
Hey, I call it a classic. Some people might call it barbaric and horrible. I call it a classic.
Some people call it gun porn.
Among actual porn, but we're not getting
With actual porn.
Yeah, it's kind of bit on the crazy side. But yeah, pre-production started early last year, as well as actual filming. And unfortunately, in the middle of the production, director David R. Ellis actually passed away. And the major draw for a lot of people to check out this movie was the fact that they pulled in Samuel L. Jackson, of all people, which I think he works well for the role he's playing.
What role was he playing? Was he playing the mentor, or was
He's playing the mentor.
Okay, so they turned a white character black. Okay, I can get around that.
If he can do it with a Marvel character, he could do it with an anime character.
Comparing Nick Fury and Kite's mentor, apples and oranges, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I was stretching. Oh well, but we finally have an official trailer because it actually finished production. It's going to be in theaters actually fairly soon. So
14's shaping up to be a hell of a year.
Yes,
everybody's like going, oh, wait till 2015, and then 2016 is going to surpass 2015. No, 2014 is going to be cool. 2015 is going to kick ass. 2016 is going to kick ass, but not as much as 15.
Sure. All right. So, without further ado, here's the trailer for Kite.
They're actually following the original story.
Yes, they are.
Okay, the possibility of this being badass epic just went up significantly.
Now, if you guys are interested in the post-show, I can also showcase the other bits that were actually shown.
You have a red tag?
Well, what's
a
nice?
Red band?
No, there's not a red band. But what the producers of Kite did was they released a single video. One with starts with the intro by Samuel L. Jackson. Then there's the trailer we just saw. And then there are 2 extended scenes from the movie they included in their entirety.
When does this hit?
Sometime this year. Everything is pointing towards first quarter.
God damn it, Isaac! I was thinking about Black Snake Moan earlier.
Now, I will have to say that
only she ain't Christina Ricci.
No. I mean, the main character, India Isley, I think she actually will pull off the character fairly well.
I think she's actually, from what I've seen of it. I mean, God, the bathroom scene was, shot for frickin' shot.
Yeah, that scene is actually included in these videos. So.
Oh, really? Is it literally shot for shot with the anime?
From what I remember, it's almost shot for shot.
Sweet.
So I'm so looking forward to this film.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. My looking forward to it factor just went up.
I mean,
now, who took over the directorship when his name died?
It was Ralph Zeman, who worked on a small movie called Gangster's Paradise. Yeah. But
I can tell right away it was a Weinstein. The minute that Weinstein thing popped up, and then you'll notice I wanted to ask the Wachowskis got involved because everything was green.
I'm kind of wondering if
Wachowski movies.
I'm wondering if that is the case.
Well, Weinstein's involved clearly because they're the production company.
Obviously, yes. Between that and I will say, I think India should be able to actually handle all of her own stunts in this film because her past credits include, Secret Life of the American Teenager, that's nothing in there. But she was also in Underworld Awakening. So...
Really?
And she's going to be in the upcoming Maleficent movie, so...
Yeah, but doing what?
Who knows? But yeah, this one looks pretty epic.
Looks pretty badass.
So... I cannot wait for more. Once we get some additional trailers, I will let you guys know, and we'll probably talk about this more in future episodes of Anna Break. But because this trailer dropped yesterday, I couldn't wait till Wednesday. I wanted to show it today.
Ha ha. Take that, you Wednesday viewers. There's a reason to watch both shows.
Yes.
We need more numbers, people. That's a whole other topic.
Yes.
On that note, though, and I'm kind of springing this on Jason, audience.
Go for it.
Surprise. I've been thinking about it. We're going to add a couple standard segments as he sips his whiskey. Do you have that link to the WTF video I sent you?
Not readily available.
I'll go see if I can find it. we're gonna end. I think we should add a section, and I want to petition the audience feeling on this. So this means those of you watching live and those of you watching on YouTube, in the comment section on YouTube, which will be down there somewhere. There are a couple suggestions for segments that we could do weekly. Have to be simple segments because Jason and I do both have real jobs. We do this for the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to include a WTF segment. So we weekly each have to find a WTF of some sort to bring onto the show. Not the same as Moment of Zen. Moment of Zen is a separate animal.
Okay.
This is just a whatever we find during the week that makes us say, what the fuck? Okay? The Chinese food song I sent you yesterday is my first entry in that.
I remember that one, yes.
Yeah. And I remember your response to it, which was, what the literal fuck? So I want to do it. I think we should do a weekly WTF segment.
Okay.
We could still do the what you've been watching.
Mm-hmm.
We can do the what's cool. But I think we should petition the audience.
Yeah.
Since we're on episode 7.
This is the first episode of 2014. Might as well get everyone involved with this.
What do you guys want to see within reason?
You don't have to let us know right now. Like you said, you can let us know in the YouTube comment section. Yeah. You have our Twitter and Facebook names. Well, at least my Facebook name as well.
We also have the From My Mother's Basement at OtakuLife.net address.
Yes.
Or is that FMMB at?
It's FMMB at OtakuLife.net.
This is what happens when we don't throw the damn numbers up that we need to throw up. Anyway, so yes, we need more segments, guys. So we can. So it's. I mean, as fun as it is to ramble and diatribe and go off on whatever we do, which we will still do anyway. It's nice to have some semblance of more structure. Moving right along with that.
Well, let's talk about.
Tell me your opinion of Smith's exit.
Matt Smith,
We're talking about the Doctor Who Christmas
special. The Doctor Who Christmas special. Given how Matt Smith played the Doctor during his tenure, I think it was a proper send-off. It was a little, for lack of a better phrase, bombastic at times.
Bombastic's good with Matt Smith, though.
This is true. I mean, that type of exit would not work with, say, David Tennant. David Tennant definitely pulled in more feels for me for the ending.
Oh, yeah. It was much more heartstringy when Tennant left.
But that was also Tennant's character. Tennant's character had... I mean, both Tennant and Smith are lovable doctors. But Tennant, I think, pulled the heartstrings a little more for me for that. But Smith was just a hell of a lot of fun the entire way through.
I loved the way he just flowed with it. And that was one of the great... I mean, Tennant did it too, but Smith would just freeform ramble.
Yep.
Kind of like we do.
Yeah.
But it would make sense at the end. I think the part... Oh, by the way, spoiler zone for about the next...
It's been a couple weeks. If you haven't seen it yet, too bad.
Amelia. When she showed up.
Mm-hmm.
That got me because I loved Amelia Pond. I loved the relationship between the Doctor and Amy.
Yeah, it was nice to see
that was better than her. I mean, Doctor and Rose Tyler wasn't pretty impressive, spanning 2 doctors the way it did. But,
right.
I mean, that was an impressive relationship. But Amy and Matt, just oh my god.
Yeah, Amy and Doctor and the Doctor's relationship far surpassed everything else, even in just Matt Smith's tenure, including Clara. Clara was interesting, but you never hooked into her.
Yeah, what was it? The Centurion aspect of Rory was great, but the Doctor and Amy, coupled with, and boy did this get interweaved and tangled, and Moffat must have been driving himself nuts with it. River Song.
Yeah. I was hoping for more River Song rather than just a casual, we sent an assassin, we bred an assassin to kill you, totally married her. That's all we got of River. And I was like, come on, really?
Yeah. It's But that being said, I agree with you. The final Matt Smith, the send-off, if you will, was really good. And if anybody's doing the math, Day of the Doctor, Matt Smith was 900 or 1200? 900.
Well, he was 900 way before that. Actually, it was
He's running off 200 years before that. So he's like around 1200 or so, right?
about that, yeah. And through the course
By
of the
the
Christmas
end,
special, he probably aged
he
another
added
600.
I was gonna say at least 5.
Yeah.
Because when the TARDIS goes back to take Clara back, and she doesn't go, that's 300 years.
Right.
Tries to send her back again. What's her bucket brings her back. I know who it is. I'm just saying what's her bucket to minimize the spoilers. Brings her back again. And he is significantly older visually.
Right.
So you figure that's got to be at least another 200 or 300. Doctor is pushing 2K at this point.
Right.
And there was something they got me. I'm wondering if you caught this. He talked about the one time where he kept the same look twice because he was feeling vain.
Yeah, that was Tenets, where he was regenerating, and in the midst of the regeneration sequence, he actually pointed all of his regeneration powers to a compatible receptacle, which was his hand that Captain Jack Harkness had with him while they were in the TARDIS. Which ties into, remember...
Okay, that explains the hand.
Yes.
Okay. See, I didn't catch that part of Tennis.
That was early in Tenet's era where they got into a sword fight and Harkness cut off.
I never saw that. I missed a lot of Tenet's.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where that came in, which also ties into with the Dr. Donna bit.
Yeah.
Do you remember that whole thing? That's where that came from.
Okay. That makes a bit more sense. Okay. So that explains the 13th. Okay, so that explains how he hit 13. He did not take the out I expected him to take. I expected him to take the fact that River sacrificed her reincarnations to save his life to effectively reset his clock.
Right.
Now, that being... that's what I've been holding on. Sounds like he's written himself an out. He's got to take it. The fact that he didn't take it points to him for coming up with something else.
But I think it was kind of cheesy. You know he's the Doctor, therefore you must help him if you love him. And all of a sudden, magical, we're going to start up his regeneration sequence again. I'm like, oh, come on.
And why the fuck didn't they do that before? Especially when the hierarchies thought he was crazy and didn't really want his help with anything anyway, initially, until he saved their ass. But if they're all frozen in a moment in time, how can they respond? I mean, yeah, there's a lot. There's tissue.
We're getting too far deep now into the normal for the casual viewers. So,
but yeah. So
overall, it was fun. I did like,
but it was a good send off. It really was a good send off, and I greatly enjoyed it.
I'm very curious to see how Peter Capaldi's Doctor is going to.
I want to see what he brings, and also since they did the thing to let him reincarnate past the 13th episode, they still again open him up for more reincarnations.
Because we don't know if that was just a one-time regeneration or a reset of his entire regeneration cycle.
DNA, effectively, yeah.
So.
Standing there looking at me. Oh, by the way, Jason says thank you for the what you did.
It was a hell of a lot of fun. If you guys haven't seen it yet, please go watch it. I know BBC America is playing it on repeat a lot. There were a few other things that I've watched recently, but we'll get to that near the end of the episode. Other than that, aside from Doctor Who, Michael and I, we covered, we had plenty of interesting discussions throughout the year 2013.
Did you put together a best of reel and not consult me?
No, not yet.
I was going to say, hey now.
I am busy nowadays, I don't even have time to do that. I have to find time to make a video for the Ultimate Geek Showdown panel at ALA on Friday.
We'll talk about that later, by the way.
Yes. So... But we had a good time in 2013. We always thank you guys for continuing to watch and bring your friends in and hang out with us.
And we're going to have a lot of more fun in 2014. I mean, I'm serious when I'm saying if you guys have segments, keeping in mind that we're not, we talk a lot about anime, we talk a lot about Japanese stuff, but we also talk a lot about Doctor, we talk about tech, we talk about everything. We're sort of the Michael and Jason Freeform show, but the point I'm getting to with that is you don't have to throw us just anime stuff, because I know a lot of the people who view us know us from Anime Expo.
Yes.
They know Jason from AX Live, they know me from the AMVs and Working Expo and whatnot. So you don't have to just throw us anime/Japanese stuff.
You can just
You can, but some of it may end up on Jason's show, not ours. So segments you want us to talk about? Any cool tech you guys want us to talk about? Tech coming up. There is some really awesome stuff. In fact, we've got notes on it. We'll be going to that. You're going to jump to 30
Yep.
or?
Yep.
Okay. There's some really cool tech coming out that Jason and I are both drooling dramatically over.
Oh, yes.
Especially with the costs going down on some of this stuff.
It is.
It's amazing. I mean, I want to know, that's got to be a loss leader on that thing from Polaroid.
I don't know.
That's got to be a freaking loss leader. They've got to make up their money somewhere. Because that price for that tech...
Well, they're not the only... Well...
How young are the kids putting these cells together?
Well, let's jump to that. I mean, we're talking about the tech nerds annual extravaganza known as the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. Takes place in Las Vegas every single year. Also kind of ties in at the same time with another convention, which we will not name.
Computer Smooch Fest? Yes.
And of course, it's actually a convention that takes place during the week. It starts Tuesday and ends Friday. So
wow. This week? I thought it was week after next.
It starts Tuesday.
Holy shit!
Which is why there's actually some news coming out with all the companies starting to bring their own off-site presentation areas up and running. For example, what Michael was just talking about, Polaroid, of all people, came out and said they're going to debut their own 4K TV at CES. Now, normally that's okay, fine. Everybody and their freaking mother is going to be showcasing a 4K TV.
I actually heard somebody was going to showcase an 8.
I heard about that too. Yeah,
as a prototype.
But the big bit with this 4K TV from Polaroid that they're going to price it MSRP at $1,000. Now,
what's the diagonal on that thing?
They are not. What's up?
How big is it?
Oh, it's 50.
A 50-inch
4K 4000.
At what frame rate?
That they don't mention what that is. Although, because they're saying it includes 3 HDMI 2.0 inputs.
Ooh.
Which something tells me that it probably includes the next gen, I think that is the next gen HDMI interface that can handle 4K 60 FPS.
Well, that's protocol, yeah. It's not changing the actual hardware, but still. Wow.
But I mean, they're not the first people to do this because Seiki came out.
Seiki came out with the 1K, yeah.
Yeah, they also had a 50-inch 4K 4000 that's still available, and I've been looking at them like, if it wasn't for the fact the 4K is limited to 30 FPS or 30 hertz, yeah. If that's not good enough for you, apparently they're going to be also releasing a 50-inch 1080p set with a Roku streaming stick built into it for $600. So you have your options, I guess. Although I think I'm just going to go with the 50-inch for 50-inch 4K for $1,000. Because that's just at the fringes of most people's, hey, we can save up for this and go for it. So you have those options.
I personally am looking forward to it. What I'm really looking forward to is some of the new not the with the 4K's monitors coming into fruition. The 4K cameras are coming closer. Which means it's, you got to give credit to Oakley for coming out with the one first out the gate, but they're not the only ones that can do it now. There's a Nikon body that can do it. Now, admittedly, it's an $8,000 camera, but it's a DSLR that'll shoot 8K.
Very true.
Or I'm sorry, not 8K, 4K at 24 seconds. That price is going to start plummeting.
Eventually, yes. Because I know last year at CES, everyone was talking about their prototypes for 4K. This year is all the consumer model 4Ks. And of course, you have like Sharp and LG trying to outdo each other.
I think that's all really cool that they're doing it, but doing it for the sake of doing it is one thing. Where's the content?
Exactly.
It took us how many? We had regular TV at 640 by 480 roughly for 60, 70 years. Over the last 10 years, HD has rolled in at 720 and 1080. Now, I get the whole tech goes exponentially, but these companies and studios just spent, in the last 10 years, millions upon millions, if not billions of dollars, getting up to 1080.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to turn around less than 10 years later and shell out 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that price becomes really low, because they want to amortize that crap over a 20, 30-year period.
Which is why there's a number of these companies, when they're showcasing their new 4K TVs, one in particular we'll get to in a moment, but they're all including new chips that can handle better upresing capabilities. You also have like YouTube. YouTube came out and saying they've actually are going to be pushing. Of course, they're going to push their own new video codec standard, the VP9,
Yeah,
which claims
I've heard good things about the VP9.
which claims they can stream 4K content over existing bandwidth at half the bit rate than 4K would normally need, or initially.
Yeah, need. But okay, you have to take that processing hardware or that processing byte somewhere, whether it's going to force all the users to upgrade their hardware on their video cards and whatnot, or it's going to be a crappy algorithm like the original MJPEGs were.
Exactly.
Because let's be honest, the first MPEG sucked ass.
Yes, it did.
It was banding from hell.
I mean, you look at all this, and I'm thinking, okay, you have companies trying to push 4K. It's going to be crammed down the consumer's throats one way or another.
Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. But it's going to be how long till the good content starts showing up?
Oh, not for another few years.
Upresing only goes so far.
Especially when you have, like LG. They're going to release, or they're going to showcase 5 what they're calling Ultra HD television TVs. 65, a 79, an 89, 84, a 98, and a 105-inch Ultra HD TV. The Ultra HD 105-inch, they're claiming, is actually what they're marketing as 5K, 5120 by 2160.
What's that aspect ratio? Because
that's not 16:9. I can tell you that much.
It's not 16:9, nor is it 16:10. I mean, that's wow.
Yeah, it's
beautiful. Don't get me wrong.
Curved ultra widescreen. So who knows what that's gonna be at?
Yeah, that would have to be curved at that big.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but yeah,
you guys get sick playing for FPSs now?
Oh my god!
If you're one of these people that gets sick playing an FPS on a console, you don't want to do it on this machine. Man.
Yeah. Tying it back to what I was saying before about the upresing chips, this one claims it has a true Ultra HD Engine Pro chip, which all marketing BS, that they claim can handle anything from true HD 1080p all the way down to SD 640 480 and upscaled enough to 5K. I call bull on that.
Well, no, you can. I don't call bull. You can upres it all you want.
Okay, I'm calling bull in the quality.
You're not going to get. You're only going to get as good as your source material, and if your source material is 480. And you could probably push it to 720 and have it look crisper and cleaner, but you can't replace detail that isn't there.
Yeah.
At that point, you're making shit up. Digitally or analog, you're making shit up. The computer can only stuff so much in there and make educated guesses. But, how long before, the Cafe Bistro sign that was at 480 suddenly says, Captain Beefo once it gets upresed to 5K because the computer's trying to figure out what the hell does this actually say. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a really abstract off the top of my head comparative, but when you upres, you can't replace detail that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
It'll just be really crisp, really fresh stair steps.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Could you imagine trying to throw like an NES on that thing?
Or better yet, I Love Lucy, upresed.
Oh, see, I've seen that. It is not pretty.
No, it's not. I've seen upres kinescope. It's not pretty at all.
Lucy looks like Ricky was beating her with a sweat stick for most of the day.
Ricky, would you change your name to Ike? Shut up, Tina. Yeah.
So yeah,
Having it very crisp and very clean and not being as glaringly pixelated is not a bad thing, but it's going to be like viewing it through Vaseline because it can't make up the stuff that's missing.
true. Now, thankfully, CES is not focusing solely on 4K televisions. There'll be a slew of other technology out there, from new laptops, tablets,
The new Wi-Fi standard supposed to be
the new Wi-Fi standards. Who is it? Who had the DDWRT? Linksys.
Linksys, yeah.
They're bringing back that router. So the hackable router.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. The DDWRT is finally coming back?
They're bringing that back. There's a lot of focus on car tech, incorporating your handhelds into your car's entertainment system.
Hands-free, yeah.
But we'll get into all of that next week after CES is over.
Yeah, because we don't have the funds to go.
No,
and
not
it's
yet.
not like we would be alone. I mean, Laporte and others have made a very valid point of, why go to CES when everybody's streaming all their crap anyway?
Exactly.
There's no sense in physically going unless you want to physically touch and drool over the toys, which I personally would love to do.
Well, that and the free drinks, but you know.
Adult Con next door. I'd never be.
Well, yeah, AVN, yeah. All right. Well, before we get to what we're watching, Michael, you have something that just dropped in your lap a moment ago, didn't you?
Yeah. So we every now and then we talk about comics. We talk about comic movies. Well, there's some new series comics that have come out. Specifically, there's two of them that have been. One's by a somewhat independent publisher called Dynamite, that have done, the same people who did Fables did a new series called Legendary. It's all steampunky and yummy. And
ooh, steampunky goodness.
I haven't read it yet. It literally just got dropped in my lap, but the artwork's gorgeous. And from what I'm being told by my significantly other half, oh my God, they're doing Doc Savage. God, I just dated myself for knowing what that is. It's really good from what I'm told. This one I have heard of, and it's surprisingly proving extremely popular, and its value has jumped in just the 2 issues that have come out. It's a series called Black Science. It's by Image. Image, this is another one that you should read, and this is another one whose story I don't know because it literally just got dropped in my lap, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. And I'm going to try and get Nikki to give me a formal review later, so look forward to these. We'll probably talk about them next week, or if I can get Nikki on camera, I'll make Nikki do it.
Sounds good.
So, we haven't forgotten you, comic people. We have them.
Very true.
Another one I have read recently, though, is a piece called Alex X Ada. And it's, I don't have my copy handy. It's a story of, it's borderline, oh God, what's the guy who fell in love with this creation? Pygmalion. It's not quite Pygmalion storyline, but it's about a guy who, like us, fan nerd types, doesn't have good luck with women, doesn't really seem to matter to him, but they're in the future when robotic mates are not unheard of. And with all the best of intentions, his grandmother, who's got an android companion, decides to get him one without telling him. And it's him coming to... They're only 2 episodes into it.
Okay.
It's not pervy. It hasn't gone down the pervy route. In fact, it's gone out of its way to not go down that route. Okay. I mean, it's hinting at it a little bit because it's obvious his grandmother's a little etchy. But it's actually, so far, it's looking pretty good. That one I have read. I can recommend it. It's a little bit of Blade Runner, a little bit of... You have to do a review formally next week, by the way. She just walked in. Oh, she's laughing at me, telling me I'm wrong. You can pull out Ada for me, Alex and Ada. That's not it. No, that's.
So we'll have comic reviews apparently next week. All right, cool deal.
This one I can review too. It's called
God is Dead.
I got this one specifically for the Bast cover, but the idea on this one is the old gods come back and start performing acts of divinity, and you watch society crumble. It goes from a science-based society to theocracy overnight to the point where it's everything just goes to hell. Society as itself goes back to a theocratic state in every nation. Science is shunned, and then in one scene, you see Odin setting up a party in Valhalla or wherever the hell he is, setting it all up, waiting for his guests to arrive. Bast, Osiris, and Anubis show up. The Greek gods show up. Polynesian gods show up. A few Japanese gods show up. And he's like, and the line he uses literally is like, okay, this bitch is ripe for the picking. Who wants what? And that's the last panel.
Nice. I kind of want to read this now.
It's pretty. It's actually looking really good. That's Alex and Ada right there. That's issue 1.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. This one's issue 2. You're right. My bad. Issue 2.
Okay.
It's really good. It doesn't feel Chobits like fully yet, but you can see some elements of potential there. Only hopefully I'm hoping the author doesn't go that route with it.
Gotcha.
But it's actually a really good story.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me know about it.
And will do.
All right. Well, as
now
we wrap
back
up
to what we're watching. My apologies.
Yes. What are you watching, Michael? What have you been watching this past couple weeks?
The Blu-rays I got for Christmas, which include but are not limited to Red 2.
Awesome.
Loved that movie. Red 2 was awesome. I mean, I liked the first Red movie, and I was very impressed with it. Helen Mirren, in my mind, stole the damn show in the first movie, and she kind of did in this one too.
Kind of did, yes. With the whole "show me something," and then
the whole scene in the Lotus where I watched the commentary section after, and the director and the stunt guys were like, Lotus just came out with a brand new model. I love Lotuses. I asked them, can I use it in my movie? They said yes. I drove it through London like you will never be allowed to drive through London. There's a lot of really funny. It was a funny bit before, but it was really, really good.
Nice. Very cool.
Watch that. I already told you I rewatched Pacific Rim. Enjoyed that. I haven't rewatched Dread yet, but I'm going to, because I got that on Blu-ray for Christmas. Other than that, I finally finished Neisei Monogatari.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, toothbrush rape. That's all I gotta say. It's not really
you
rape.
Have finally
I've finally seen it in context. Oh my effing god! Oh God, that was hilarious. That was just so funny to me. And it turns out, by the way, I was talking to you on Netflix about how I thought they had Monogatari. What they've got labeled as Monogatari is actually Neko Monogatari,
which is another book.
Which is another of the books, but there are only 3 series, not 4.
Right.
So I was wrong. You weren't exactly right either. We were kind of
I
both
wasn't.
wrong.
Yeah, we were both wrong on
We're
that.
both wrong. But yeah, so I've started to watch Neko Monogatari. I'm liking it so far.
Good.
I'm going to watch more. And what have you been watching?
Well, I did watch the first episode of Space Dandy last night. And that was entertaining as all hell. Because for a number of reasons. The feel of it, like Studio Bones went back and took like the zany episodes from Cowboy Bebop and made that a series. Like, it's that good. Yeah.
Is it that universe, or is it just that feel?
Just that feel. It's a completely different universe.
Okay.
But you watch it and I'm like, okay, I'm getting this feel of Cowboy Bebop-ism in there. Which makes sense because Studio Bones worked on the Cowboy Bebop movie. So from there, things got a little kind of crazy. The massive emphasis on boobs is prevalent in the entire episode. Like, they have a Hooters-style restaurant that apparently dots the entire galaxy called Boobies. Like, I watch this, I'm like, okay, there's fan service, and then
upfront about it.
Yeah, there's fan service, and there's this.
What was that other show we were watching last time you were up here that was all nothing but fan service?
Oh God.
And it made no bones about it. It was nothing but there's actually a story there, kind of. And I'm not talking about Kill la Kill, although that's
Yeah.
God. That's the other thing I've been watching recently was Kill la Kill.
Mm.
Oh my God. By proxy, I've been watching American Horror Story
Okay.
because Nikki decided she wanted to crash course it and did the entire first season in 3 days.
Mm-hmm. What was it? So Space Dandy was cool. There's already a bit of a controversy about it already, sadly.
Yes. Yeah.
Some of the animators of Space Dandy from Japan actually went out on Twitter in English to say that Funimation kind of screwed up a couple things already with the first episode. They actually went ahead and rechanged a couple minor story bits
Try and make them fit better.
to fit better with the English dub. Apparently, those are going to become massive plot devices in the future. So
Yeah, they're gonna have to retcon that.
I'm curious to see how Funimation responds to that. So that being said, I did watch it twice. I did watch it in Japanese and in English. The English dub is actually hilarious. They actually did a damn good job. Kind of preferring the Japanese version though, just because it just fits with the whole style of the series a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Sega Fan Photokano is just pure fan service, but I don't think that's one I watched when I was up there with Michael and Nikki.
We'll remember it at some point.
Yeah, eventually. The other thing I watched, that was actually just yesterday, was Mythbusters. I haven't watched Mythbusters in a while. Like, I would have a DVR, but I would never really get around to it because, well, we all know it's not science. It's science-y entertainment.
Well, yeah, it's science-tainment. Yeah, definitely.
But they did an episode to kick off the new season that was fantastic. They hosted a Star Wars episode. They actually got the 501st to join them for this.
Well, there's a major branch of the 501st up there.
And every single member of Mythbusters are actually honorary members of the 501st because they've all worked at ILM.
I was gonna say there are a couple of them that actually are members. Like
Yeah, exactly. The myths that they tried to go for was from episode 5, Luke and Leia swinging over the chasm and the Death Star to see if the way that they did it in the movie was actually plausible.
Ep 4.
Sorry, you're right. Ep 4. My bad. There was also they wanted to see if the scene where Han Solo put Luke Skywalker inside the Tauntaun, see if that would actually work. And
That must have been hell.
Surprisingly, it works. Like, surprisingly well. Like, they put a dummy inside a Tauntaun that they made. Over the course of like 3.5 hours, the body temperature dropped 4 degrees. That's it. While inside sub-zero temperatures.
That sounds about right.
And the last one, which was hilarious, was they did the Ewok log smash. And so they built this.
What was the analog for the ATST?
For the test was just a giant cargo van, and then for the actual test, they used an armored truck.
Wow!
And
did it work?
And the two giant trees that they used were, I think, really big eucalyptus. I think eucalyptus, the really thick ones. Each were 10,000 plus pounds.
Well, I know that they couldn't have done it with redwood, which is what was used in the movie for the analog. But
no, but they
redwood's endangered. But
in building up the trying to get it as far as possible in order to do the correct to be movie accurate. They couldn't get that far at first because they initially set everything up via telephone poles that they just drilled into a ground somewhere. And it tried to pull it beyond like 15 degrees. They were like creaking and cracking. And they were like, let's stop right now. But yeah, it just totally demolished not only the van, but also the armored truck.
I am going to have to check this out.
It was an absolute blast. And they were very... It was very fun how they did it. It was hilarious because at the beginning, it's Adam and Jamie in one of the replica sets. And there's Adam dressed as, I think it was Han Solo. And then here comes Jamie, but he, instead of, Darth Vader, he comes in dark helmet from
Nice.
from Spaceballs. I was like,
Nice.
yes!
Nice.
That was awesome. So yeah, it's a good episode. You can probably find it. What's up?
Nothing's.
Okay. You can find repeats on Discovery Channel and probably on their on-demand sites and whatnot. But it got me interested in MythBusters again. So good on them.
Every now and then they do really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much all I'm gonna talk about. What I've watched over the past couple weeks. Saw some movies. Most of them sucked, except for Frozen. But you know.
Yeah, I've heard from folks who have seen 47 Ronin. Don't waste your money. I want to see it just for the cinematography and the effects.
I want to see it for how bad it is.
But I also kind of want to see it for how bad it is, just so I can have drunken movie night.
Drunk movie would be awesome. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for us for the first episode of 2014.
It was a little disorganized, but when aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to fix that. Honest. We're working on that.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Stay tuned for post-show. And yeah, for my mother's basement, I'm Jason.
And I am Michael.
And we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.